fans on the old YouTube, we are excited. It's Happy Draft Eve. What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is Wednesday. We've got all of the best prospects on the program. Today, we're going to have Drake Maye, UNC quarterback. We're going to talk a little footwork with him. How about we've got Detroit, one of the greatest players to ever do it. And dare I say, like, a best friend of the show, someone who comes on a lot, and he's the perfect person. Reggie Bush gets his Heisman back, former teammate of his. Of course, Calvin Johnson, Megatron, on the show to size up some of these wide receivers. Let's do it. ESPN's Matt Miller on the program. Excited for that as well. Hamilton, you are here. I want to completely ignore and not talk about the fact that this boost, this like wonderful thing that I thought that I put out into the universe, Ant-Man let me down. I thought I was too confident. I was like, I'm your good luck charm. 25, easy peasy. 5 points in the first half. What the F? What the F happened, Durant? It wasn't really close, Hamilton.
It really wasn't. And yeah, maybe, you know, it tends to be when you get overconfident, that's when we run into issues. I feel like you put, it's not. No.
That's not true. That's not true. Yesterday, I was driving, and Hamilton said that should be the show. The show should be Hamilton talking to me as I drive.
Yeah, we should have a whole YouTube series of this. Your road rage. I think would be really entertaining for people.
I'm unhinged.com. Anything that you want to ask? Obviously, we have Drake Maye. We have Michael Penix on tomorrow. Anything that you want to ask any of these guys? I mean, who else is on the show? We're going to have Joe Alt. What do you got?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for Calvin Johnson to come back. Every time he comes on, I feel like he's got something mind-blowing that he pulls back from the past. So really interested in that. We talked to him this summer about the black jerseys. I feel like he kind of manifested that whole thing. So excited to hear his thoughts on how that all came together.
We got a big show. I feel like Drake Maye was a great interview. He gave me nothing though. Like I want everybody to watch and be like we left the interview and I was like, oh, okay, good. And then I was like, I got Bo Nix ×7 or these cats are so schooled up. It's unbelievable. But I think we're going to see quarterback off the board. And I do think at some point we're going to have to weasel in at just a little nugget of time to tell Chicago, enjoy the moment, you know?
Yeah.
I'm really thinking about Chicago today and tomorrow. Like, you deserve it. Enjoy what's ahead. I mean, we got Matt Miller. We'll have him on here in a second. He's saying they could get real spicy, and Polsey Baby might move up to grab a Marvin Harrison also with Keenan Allen. It will be the best situation for any rookie quarterback in the game, as Carmen Vitale told us weeks ago. So to me, like, just Chicago, embrace it. You deserve it. Enjoy every minute.
Yeah, it is. It is special with everything that fan base has been through at the quarterback spot, especially. This is an exciting time, and I know there's some apprehension too, but you're right. I hope they embrace this and enjoy the moment, because that franchise is headed in a really good direction right now.
Yeah, you know what I love is watching people who work their asses off get shine and get put in good spots, and people who work their butts off, and that is our next guest. Thanks, Hammer. We've got ESPN NFL draft analyst and insider, Matt Miller. It's got a good ring to it, old friend. How you doing?
Oh, my goodness. I'm doing well. It's so great to be back on with you.
You are everywhere. Are you sleeping? How are you? How is your work-life balance these days?
Not sleeping. I will sleep next week. As you can see, no sleep this week. It's good, though. I mean, this is the week that we all get excited for. You know, we literally spend a year following these prospects, getting to know them, talking to teams about their strengths and weaknesses and what they're like as people. So it's great to have this moment that's kind of a culmination of that. And like you were just saying about Chicago, like, I think we sometimes forget, like, because we get 10 minutes to talk about it. It's like, even for these players who this has been their dream since they probably first picked up a football, and they get 10 minutes where you kind of get to celebrate that moment. And then you're off to a party, and then you're on a private jet and you're going to work on Friday, basically meeting an entirely new franchise and organization. So it's going to be a lot of fun, though.
I like that Caleb Williams did not take the private jet to Detroit. He took, and then he made it very clear to everyone, listen, I'm #1 overall picks. We're just like us. You know, they're riding coach. They're on these flights. He was with Rome, of course. It's all very exciting. The vibes are immaculate in Detroit already. I cannot wait to see what happened. I keep joking, like Roger Goodell went from eating a bowl of M&Ms during pandemic to hanging out with Eminem ahead of this draft, which is great. We know what's happening at 1. Chicago, enjoy it. But all eyes, mine especially, on the Commanders at #2. No indication of where they're leaning. It's absolute chaos. Of course, you know, they did the joint bachelorette vibed quarterback visit where they brought everybody in. Yeah. You're plugged into these teams. You know what's going on. What do you think is the choice at 2?
I think they maybe upset Jaden Daniels and his camp with the Topgolf date, but I think it was the right thing to do to get everyone there and kind of see how those players work together to see, you know, who emerges as the leader, basically. And so I still think they'll take Jaden Daniels. There was probably some phone calls behind the scenes to smooth things over of them saying, you know, it's like the Senior Bowl. We just want to throw you guys in a competitive situation and kind of see what happens, see who rises to the top. And maybe that was Jaden Daniels. Maybe it was Drake Maye. Maybe it was, you know, J.J. McCarthy. But I still think when it's all said and done, tomorrow night, Jaden Daniels will be a Washington Commander with the 2nd overall pick.
And that will be absolutely incredible. And he's got like all the upside in the world. I was talking to somebody yesterday, one of the decision makers in the draft, and it's hard to find a comp to him physically. It's hard to find, you know, and these guys love their comps. And is it Marcus Mariota? No, he's a little bit stronger. Like, can he put on weight? Like, these are the kind of nitty-gritty questions that everybody's asking. And I like that you're saying that the visit was like Lord of the Flies more than the Bachelorette. Like, who's going to be the alpha and the lead dog at the end of the day? And we'll see who it is tomorrow night, of course. You pointed out the other day that Marvin Harrison Jr. has only gone on 2 official visits, Chicago and Arizona. Why would you point that out? Like, let's talk about this. And you know, you told people, do it. I'm just going to, you know, agent of chaos. Let me just put this out there. I mean, you know, what are we doing here? Arizona, an obvious destination. Is there a world where Chicago moves up from 9?
I think they could try. It certainly makes it fun, right? Like, we do all these mock drafts, Kay, and we're like, oh, this team will take this player. And we always forget to factor in someone just getting antsy. Like last year was the Houston Texans. They took C.J. Stroud at 2. We all sat back and we're like, dang, that was a really good pick. Okay, let's move on. Who's on the clock at #3? And here comes Houston to get Will Anderson Jr. And so we've seen that teams can do that. And I think Chicago would be wise to make that call. Now, the problem is they don't have a lot of draft capital. They only have 4 picks in this draft. They have none on day 3. So it would get expensive to do this. But I think you at least have to call and see, hey, if he slides to 6th, you know, what does it take to get up there? And I think there is a real world possibility. We've all heard that Malik Neighbors, there are teams that like him as the top receiver in this class. So I think for Chicago, you're doing the smart thing, investigating Marvin Harrison Jr. just in case he does fall. The part of that tweet that I found most interesting is that he's only visited 2 teams, the team that has the 1st pick and the team that has the 4th pick. You know, he hasn't visited with the LA Chargers. I know there were reports that he had met with the New York Giants. I could never confirm that. The list that I got was that he only had the 2 meetings. I spoke to he and his dad at the Ohio State Pro Day. At that time, they had only had the 2 meetings set up. They did meet with 9 teams at the Combine. The Giants may have been in that mix, but I will be shocked if he's not the pick by the Arizona Cardinals, just because you're there at 4. Their #1 receiver is Greg Dortch. I love Greg Dortch, but that's your #1 receiver right now. They have to get Kyler Murray a big-time weapon at wideout, and that is Marvin Harrison Jr.
It's less to me about Marvin Harrison Jr. at all. If, like, even just the discussion of this, it's so much more about what Chicago thinks about Caleb Williams. Like, that is going in times 1,000. If you move up and, like, pay the cost of that, even if they, you know, we're talking about it, let's say they do it, that is just the pressure, all the pressure in the world on Caleb Williams. That is like, we do believe you are, this is the bizarro world Justin Fields, where we surrounded you with nobody, and now we're going to go all in. And you know, obviously Chicago learning from their mistakes here, but it'll be interesting. Even if they don't make that move and don't grab Marvin or any other receiver, don't move from 9, whatever, they move back, whatever. Like, Caleb, I think, is walking into the best situation we've seen for a #1 overall pick ever.
Yeah, a lot better than last year with Bryce Young, which, you know, that was like lauded as this great destination, but that was more so about the coaching staff than it was about the roster. And I think with Chicago, we're all excited about the roster. They have two very good young offensive tackles. They have, a backfield now with DeAndre Swift that is really solid. They have elite pass catchers in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Cole Kmet is a great young tight end and a fantastic leader on that team. They added Gerald Everett. That move kind of flew under the radar, but now they have a really good second tight end as a pass catcher. So it is a great spot. And the defense is strong enough that they're not going to have to score 30 points a game to win, which is going to be unique for Caleb because they just go like 45 points a week to win at USC. So now he's going to understand what it's like to have a good run game and a defense that can actually have your back at times. So I think Minnesota, Kay, would be the other one that's really, really good because of Justin Jefferson, because of Jordan Addison. They also have two good tackles on the offensive line, but you have to pay Justin Jefferson next. And that's the key. Like keeping Justin in Minnesota is what makes that an attractive destination. But I think that's why they're one of those teams that I'm sure every mock draft you read in the next 24 hours will have Minnesota trading up to get a quarterback because they know they have to pay Justin Jefferson $30 million or more per year. And so they have to spend there and they have to save a quarterback.
Yes, it doesn't work if you pay both. I outlined that. Hamilton did some crazy research on that. It literally, outside of Brady, it does not work, or outside of Mahomes, rather. Okay, so interesting that you're saying all of it. And as you're saying about Chicago, like, it's just Shane Waldron, like, wow, the pressure to put it all together with all of these pieces is insane. But I'm very excited for that. There's draft rumors. Obviously, we're sort of starting one. We're dabbling in the Marvin Harrison to Chicago vibes. Then there's like the Pats aren't going to take a quarterback. They're going to trade down. The Giants are going to trade up. The Falcons could take Penix at 8. All this is going on. Is there a pre-draft rumor you're all in on?
I mean, I love all of them. If there was one that I actually say that I would believe, it would be that Penix goes in the top 20. I don't think Atlanta, like the Falcons have done some, risky things, only drafting offensive playmakers for the last 3 years. I will fall out of my chair tomorrow night if they draft Michael Penix at 8 overall. But I do think the Raiders at 13, the Broncos at 12, those are realistic situations in which he could go. So I think what we're hearing right now is, I've talked to coaches even that say Penix is going to go a lot earlier than you think he is, or he's going to go a lot earlier than where you have him rated. And so, but it's where's that point? And the closer we get to the draft, it just keeps going higher and higher. Like I'm predicting now, someone will come out and say, well, the Giants really like him at 6 overall. I'm not buying that he's going to go that high, but I do think there's a real world scenario in which he could go 12 or 13 overall.
Which would mean that he's convinced people the injury is not, a one-off. It's not something. I mean, that would be the concern there. Why he'd end up being a value for a team later on in the draft. That the injuries aren't a concern, and that maybe he got the best out of his receivers and they didn't make him, because that's certainly something people are saying.
Yeah, no, that's the rub, right? He's 24 years old, or will be, I think, this weekend. He's got 4 straight years of season-ending injuries at Indiana, which the ACL after 2 years, like your chance of re-tearing that are almost nil. Like you don't really have to worry about that anymore. But your last point is a great one, is who made whom at that offense. His receivers, if you watch the Texas game, it looks like he was the greatest quarterback who ever played. 2 weeks later, they play Michigan, and he can't hit anyone because Michigan moved him off his spot. So I think that is the question right now, where coaches get involved and they love the arm talent. They love the accuracy. They love what he does when the pocket's clean. I think scouts see more of the traits, and that's where, 3 months ago, he was viewed as a second-round prospect. Now here we are, day before the draft, and we're all hearing he could go in the top 20. I think that's because coaches get involved and they say, well, we can fix that, or we can scheme around that, or our team has players that would allow him to thrive in that scenario. So that is kind of the difference that you get in the evaluation process. People wonder, like, what changed? There were no games being played. A lot of times what changes is something as simple as that, is the coaches get involved and say, well, for our scheme, that's not an issue, that he doesn't run like Lamar Jackson. Okay, well, that's fine. We don't need him to do that.
Listen, I'm so happy for you. First of all, you love Joe Milton, and I love Joe Milton. So we have a shared bond for that. Penix isn't going to be around by the time you get to what I'm so happy about, is that you're going to be on the ESPN ABC broadcast for rounds 4 through 7. That is so cool. I cannot wait to watch. This is where you thrive. The sick pup lane of, like, who are, these lesser talked about guys. Give me the day 3 sleeper that you're sitting there excited to talk about, and you're saying, please let me talk about this guy.
Yeah, I told Hamilton, we actually do that. We get on phone calls, like with Kuiper and Field Yates is joining us this year, and we call dibs on guys. Like, hey, that's my guy. And, mine, it's like I'm a Midwest guy, so they always give me, the Texas guys, the Mizzou guys. But this year I was like, you have to give me Luke McCaffrey. And not just because his, dad played in the NFL and his brother's Christian McCaffrey. I actually love Luke as a player. Like we can, if his last name were Adams instead of McCaffrey, I would still love him. His transition from being a top quarterback prospect to being a very, very good slot receiver for Rice last year. We're all looking for that. Who's this year's Puka Nacua? Luke McCaffrey has the skills to be that player where we're talking about like who's a 4th-round wideout who could come in and have a 70-catch season. It all does depend on where he goes, but he has all the traits to be a really good rookie wide receiver, somebody that's going to have a really nice career where he does make a name for himself outside of that, great last name that he has.
Amazing. And you also have a mock draft coming out this afternoon, I hear. A little birdie named Hamilton just told me that in my ear. So make sure, guys, check that out. You will be on ESPN that day 3 and not sleeping until then. And then you'll play Legos with your kids, which I know that you're big into. So enjoy. Have the thought of the Lego dream of your future vacation time off. But until then, thank you for all of the work, all of the insight. ESPN NFL draft analyst and insider Matt Miller. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Of course, guys, go check out that mock draft of Matt Miller. And up next, we're going to talk to Calvin Johnson. And then after that, we're going to talk a little Drake Maye. And later today, I'm going to talk to Joe Alt. What should I ask Joe Alt? Maybe Joe Alt's questions that you'd like answered? Let me know. Okay, guys, we're going to shoot a promo really quickly. Okay, let's do it. 1 second. How long does this one live? Just like for a week? Is that the whole deal? Okay, cool. Ready? Hey everybody, Kay Adams here, and the NBA playoffs are underway. Throughout the playoffs, FanDuel is giving all customers a chance to bring home a big win with a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend. Just place an SGP on any playoff matchup. You'll get bonus bets back if it doesn't hit. Bet on everything. I don't know, you like boards? You like assists, 3-pointers? That's what I like. Do whatever you want to do. I don't know, maybe have some fun with the Boston Celtics. They certainly look like the toughest team to beat right now. Versatile. They got the defense. They got Jason Tatum doing his thing. By the way, if they make it to the finals, Tatum leading the way to be the top dog for that MVP convo. I talk hoops on my show. Not a little. I put out some boosts, some giveaways as well. It's called Up and Adams. You can check it out on FanDuel TV and YouTube every weekday, 11 to 12 Eastern. I have the best guests in sports, like Hall of Famers, analysts, the whole nine. So visit FanDuel.com/KAdams. Shoot your shot on America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. I would say if that's something she wants, like, are they going to tweet that and I can boost that for them?
Let me double check. I think it's YouTube only.
Only, okay, got it. Doesn't seem, I mean, seems like they should put that on Soch too, but okay. Okay. So want to talk through this really quick? It's only 6 seconds? It says 0.06 to end. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Great. Hamilton, this graphic, yeah. Okay, got it. No problem. So we're skipping that entirely? Okay. No problemo. Because these black unis that y'all wore, I'm just Googling them. They're so good. And I think the fans I want them back. Do the fans want them back? Do you want them back? These are sick.
Everybody wanted them back. I don't know why we didn't wear them more. Was this my year?
It is. Yeah,
so that wasn't okay.
Yep.
Well,
Week 6.
I don't know why we didn't wear them anymore because it wasn't like we went on 16 that year. We went on 16 the next year. But I don't know. I mean, I love that jersey. You know, there's a bunch of years there we didn't even wear the throwbacks for Thanksgiving. while I was playing. But I mean, the black jerseys are awesome. They're cold-blooded.
Well. 3-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer, #2 overall pick in the 2007 draft. Calvin Johnson, also manifester, maker of things happening, because these bad boys are back, baby.
They're back. How you doing, Kay?
I'm so good. Good to see you. Listen, we called for it. We saw it. We wanted it. We made it happen. What do you think?
It's awesome. They went back to the block numbers as well, but just to have the black jersey back, I said something that day. I was like, I'm gonna start a petition just so we can wear these things every home game. They're cold-blooded.
They should. They are cold-blooded, and you said that, and it went off. And then I think that, you and Detroit are getting along. A big week, big vibes. I have to ask you, do you like the alternate helmet? It was a bold move I saw on Twitter.
It was a bold move, but it popped with that black jersey, though. I love it. It looks good to me.
So you're into it. How's it like to be a guy who spends so much time in Detroit this week?
Oh, man. Ooh, I was downtown the last 2 days, just got events all day, every day. But just to see the anticipation, the excitement, obviously there's a ton of excitement, the way the Lions ended the season last year. So that's just rolling over, into this draft week. And then obviously it's going to roll over into the season. So this is just good times around Detroit.
Are you going to be around? Or are you is this one of those weekends where you go, I'm going skiing, I'm leaving?
Man, the mountains are closed down for me now, so it's time to bring out the golf clubs. But no, I got events lined up with my company, and then just appearances all week. So it's just fun just being able to catch up with some of the guys that are in town.
I love that. Calvin, let's go back. Let's go back, shall we? 2007, draft night. What do you remember about this moment?
It was cool. Every year at the time, everything was in New York. We were up in New York, and, it was like 4 or 5 guys that were going to be like, top 10 picks, I guess, and it was just still the anticipation of, okay, where am I going to go? I thought I was going to go stay at home. I thought I was going to go to Atlanta. I thought I was going to go to Tampa. Last place I thought I'd end up in was Detroit. So,
you're one of one. It's impossible. I'm looking at all these receivers and even Marvin Harrison, and it's like, what is it? I was telling Hamilton this morning, I was like, what is it like to know that Calvin could just sit there and say, none of them will be me? They might be great, but none of them will be me.
I mean, that's what it's all about, just running your own race, taking inspiration from those that came before you and just, implementing those things into your own game, and shoot, never know. One day you might be the best.
Calvin, do you remember what your answer was in those interviews with teams? Or media even, when teams asked you to compare yourself to other wide receivers already in the league?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I know at the time, how I was looking at guys and how I wanted to put those, different pieces from everybody's game into my game. So I was looking at Randy. I want to make plays like Randy. I want to be durable like T.O. You want to be consistent like a Marvin Harrison. You want to be a bruiser like Hines Ward. And try to put all those things into one package. And
that's how you're Megatron. Literally, you're that's what you said. You said you're a combo of T.O. and Randy Moss with the personality of Marvin Harrison, which I love. I mean, those are 3 all-time players. I got to ask you, looking back at it, obviously it's a loaded class, right? 2007, if we can take a look here. 4 future Hall of Famers selected in that first round. 17 of the 32 players selected in the first round were Pro Bowlers. What was the energy on draft night? Did this class know they were about to take the NFL by storm?
If you saw the way that part of those guys like Marshawn Lynch, a couple of us were working out, down in Florida. We knew AP, we knew he was a train. We were able to sit back and see man, at the time I knew we had a hell of a draft class, but when it's all said and done, looking back, we really had a hell of a draft class. I feel like maybe not an all-time, but one of the all-time draft classes possibly. You
were so humble back then, even though I do think you knew what was about to happen. And now you're a little more open. Obviously, you're Hall of Fame. You're just more open now. You just are. Maybe that comes with age, experience, whatever. You went #2 in that draft. DeMarcus Russell went #1. If you could go back now, in that moment, did it matter to you? What were your thoughts when that happened? No, it didn't matter whether I went 1 or 2. Honestly, I thought I was going to fall the 3, 4, or 5, wherever Atlanta and Tampa was. Honestly, I just wanted to be for it to be a good fit and for somewhere for me to be comfortable.
You know, I obviously wasn't exactly comfortable in Detroit, but, you know, you got to get over all that and just get to work. You know, so for all the guys that are coming in right now, you know, it doesn't really matter where you fall in the draft. It's just about the work that you put in when you get your opportunity.
You had more yards against my Chicago Bears than any other opponent in your career. So Detroit's having its moment, sure. Like they've outperformed, they've done that. But like, can you celebrate Chicago a little bit right now? Like they're getting their #1 pick. Things are looking good. They get Keenan. They've got like some good things coming to them. Are you a believer in the Bears?
You know what? I love playing in Chicago, minus the dang crappy field, but the environment. I love shopping in Chicago. I was in Chicago this past weekend, so I got mad love for Chicago. You know, I want to see them, you know, have success, you know, second to the Lions. So, you know.
It's not what I asked. Are you a believer? They get Caleb. Are you a believer in Chicago? And you know what I'm asking, yes or no?
I believe that they can come runner-up to the Lions. I believe that Caleb Williams, I believe they get Caleb Williams, they will be a better team, 100%.
Better than
100%.
the Packers?
Man, that Jordan Love, man. Whew, that boy, he's just getting better with time. You got to watch them. They only had 3 of them in the last however long, 3 quarterbacks. So like they got something figured out up there.
Calvin, what would the Bears have to do to get you to say, I believe they're going to have a Lions-esque turnaround?
I don't know. I got to see him. I got to see another year first. Sorry, Bears fans, but I got to see it in action. I got to see it. I mean, I guess y'all over there hoping that y'all have a season like the Texans did last year.
Yes.
You know, you get that top quarterback, and you know that's generational. I feel like.
Is Caleb generational?
Woo. Nah, I would never be the one to step out on the limb to say that anybody coming into the NFL is generational talent. There's so many different factors that could play into that, and I wouldn't even step out on the limb to say that he has potential. Like that.
Did you know that Matthew Stafford was generational before he came to you?
Not before, but once I got to play with Matthew, I mean, really like first practice, I got to understand, you know, this. I really got to understand. I mean, until you really, you know, get to see a guy and be on the field with a guy, you really just don't know. And you know, you watch from now, unless you're like on the game day field, you know, watching him in college. But seeing him, the way he threw the ball, the way that ball broke my fingers, you know, when he first came to Detroit, I knew instantly.
So maybe Keenan Allen, I'll ask him after the first practice, and he'll know instantly. I mean, there's talks that the Bears might swing so big that they trade up and get Marvin Harrison Jr. too. So then you're having Keenan, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Caleb. Then are you a believer?
I mean, it's hard not to be a believer when you have a young quarterback and you have a veteran receiver that's just Mr. Consistent, been consistent his whole career pretty much, and then you have a young talent. You know, young receivers can make hay in this league. So, you know, that definitely improves your chances. It sounds like you're a big Bears fan.
No, I'm not. I'm just curious what it would take, because I think it's an exciting time for them. Of course, I mean, you saw the Lions. People weren't believers in the Lions. Did a couple things,
I know, but
and now look at that.
Why are we talking about the Bears? We're probably talking about Detroit.
So tell me about Detroit. I mean, because Detroit's not picking till later. And Detroit's just like, you know, they're hanging out with them. You want to talk about Detroit? What would you like to see them do? Listen, we pulled back the black jerseys. What is your draft wish for Detroit?
My draft wish is always just to beef up the defense. You know, I know okay. Brad and the team have everything going over there, but just to beef up the defense as much as we can, whether that's, you know, there's 3 different levels there, and I don't have a say on which level, but I just want to see some more on defense. We have it on offense. Obviously, you could pad that up a little bit, but man, defense, like I say, defense wins championships. And I know what we have in golf. I know what we have on offense. So we just give him some help keep getting the ball back in his hands. Yeah.
I would love to see Terry and Arnold go to Detroit. That would be, you and me have a good thing going here. We're wearing the black, I say Terry and Arnold, maybe like a Nate Wiggins. Both of them are on my show, I think, you know, to help the defense out a little bit. There's so much talk about the quarterback position. Y'all are boring. Detroit's boring. Y'all have it figured out. You have your Goff, you have your Campbell. If you're one of these receivers on one of those, you know, the first 4 teams picking, like the Chicagos, the Commanders, the Patriots, like if you're one of these cats, Arizona, right? Maybe, I don't know, who knows about Arizona, but what are the traits? Like, you were in your 3rd year when Stafford came in. What are the traits that you're hoping for and are most important, where you're like, if you could talk to the GM, where you'd be like, this is what's most important for me?
In a quarterback or a receiver?
Quarterback.
In a quarterback? I guess the arm, velocity, the ability to change the velocity in your arm. Obviously, you got to be able to fit the ball in different holes. You need to be able to hit the ball in the honey hole on the sideline. You got to be able to drop it over the linebacker. So somebody that has that kind of touch, and somebody that's not afraid to use their legs. Because there's times where plays just break down. There's some quarterbacks they're reluctant to use their legs, and there's some they'll use their legs and get you out of a bad situation. So somebody not necessarily a runner, but definitely somebody that can use their legs. And I mean, if you're a quarterback in the NFL, you have the mental capacity to do so. So I wouldn't even delve too much into there. So the ability to use your legs and the ability, like I say, to change the velocity on the ball.
Yeah, let's talk. Okay, so to bring it back to Detroit, I'm curious if you have anything to say about Reggie Bush this morning. You were with him 2013, 2014, I believe. It was just announced this morning. Heisman Trust, giving him back that trophy to him and USC. How do you feel?
Man, they know Reggie was they know Reggie was like one of the best all-time players. Man, come on, they tripped. Come on, if anybody deserved that Heisman, Reggie. Goodness gracious, everybody was a Reggie fan back in the day. He was the biggest superstar we've seen at the time in football. I feel like, just at least my generation, and just the things that he did on the football field, it was joystick. So haven't seen it since, and I don't know when we'll see it again. But Reggie Bush was an awesome player, and everybody was getting money back in the day. We weren't getting no money at Georgia Tech, but everybody was getting paid back in the day. So come on.
There was no money at Georgia Tech, nothing.
Man, we used to get like a $1,500 stipend once a year, and then that thing went away after my second year. I was like, damn, where'd the money go? We didn't get nothing.
But now you're making money with Primitive Performance and helping people. Okay, I need that hoodie, by the way. But it is an amazing thing you're doing. Congrats on the success of the company, Primitive Performance. It's all about recovery. You received the NFS Global Sports Certification. I don't really know what that means. Tell me more about Primitive Performance. CBD awareness is taking off and growing, and you were ahead of it.
100%. So, this little sticker right here, it took us a whole year to get. Is what you said, NSF for sport, and what that means is basically it puts our product on the safe list for professional and collegiate athletes. And so you can use our product, our CBD product. It doesn't have any THC. Like I say, both collegiately and on the professional realms. And we created these products, just because we use these products, both like the topical and the rehydration solution that we made. We use them in bunches while we played ball, but none of them had the function and the anti-inflammatory capabilities, such as our products that we're making now. So we're just trying to, just recreate, what we're doing, bring us another level of natural healing to those, to the professional athletes, and not just the professional athletes, anybody dealing with, muscle and joint soreness. This is great for. I have family that have arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis that use our product. So it's a great product. I use it all the time myself before I snowboard, golf. I use it proactively, actually. But it's exciting to be able to be in this industry to create products that, my peers can use and have success in getting them back on the field faster.
It's an incredible product, and that sticker matters. I was looking it up before the show. It's the only certification, this is important for people, it's the only certification that is recognized by the United States Anti-Doping Agency and MLB, NHL, NFL, and the NBA. So you might have been the number 2 overall pick, which you didn't care, but you were number 1 in getting ahead of this and providing this for people who are really in pain and needing recovery. So guys, check out the full slate of Primitive products at primitiveperformance.com. Calvin, enjoy this week, and good luck with the golf clubs.
Thank you, Kay. Great to see you. Hey, if you play golf, I'll send you an invite to my outing. Hey,
I would hit me up. I will be there only if I get that hoodie. Got me?
Money.
Okay, money. Talk to you soon. We'll be back with UNC quarterback Drake Maye after this. I love Megatron. Hamilton. When it comes to the GOATs, is Calvin not like the coolest goat, just the chillest of all goats?
He really is.
Who's a chiller goat? Because he will send me that. He's
Yeah.
And he's chill and who is?
It's a great question. It's hard to find. It is hard to find one.
Tom's not a chiller goat. Tiger's not a chiller goat. He's I don't know.
And he was that was his personality
Serena
too.
seems pretty chill. Like, I think Serena's probably, like, I think she's pretty freaking cool. Like, and not cool, like, cool, just, like, chill, like.
Yeah. And it's not just because Calvin's retired either. That's how he was the whole time, while he was playing, too. I got to, I was lucky enough to get to be around him and Reggie and all those guys up in Detroit for that year. And he was just, that's just how he is all the time.
Randy's like that, too, though. Randy is like that.
Yeah. Randy was not chill while he was playing though.
But yeah. I'm trying to think of like what you would call like the best wide receivers. Like he really sticks out and they always think about like him with Nate and like Nate with Randy and then Nate with Calvin.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. He's the shit. I love it.
Yeah, he really is.
I feel like we got everything. It'd be, he wants defense to Detroit. I love that. He didn't want to talk about Chicago. He does not believe in Chicago.
He really did not want to talk about it.
I think he didn't give me the real answer. That's why. Because now I'm thinking back, like, did I badger him on Chicago? A little bit, but it's like, why not? Like, and I think I was trying to get him to say, like, I don't even know, something that I could argue, but he wasn't really,
Yeah. I think he's so happy the Lions are finally in that spot. He doesn't want to think or talk about anybody.
I think he doesn't believe in,
them.
I don't think so. I think he doesn't believe in Chicago. I think it's like, I think you're wrong. I think he knows he has nothing positive to say, which is interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
What about his Caleb answer?
I guess we have to see. Yeah. Yeah, because his Jordan Love answer was good too. Had a lot to say about Jordan, so yeah.
I know. Okay, Cranky Richard. Welcome back to the Evan Adams Show. It's Drake Day. Not that Drake. I sat down with one of the top quarterbacks in this draft, really one of the top prospects who's going to be, hanging out with Goodell. Hopefully, actually, I don't know if I asked him where he'd be for the draft. I don't know, but he's Drake Maye, and he will be in Detroit. And we talked about Phillip Rivers. We got a Phil Longo reference in there for all of you psychopaths who love the NFL, nitty gritty, and footwork and all of that. There was an Elway reference, and we really just talked about what this moment is. Here's Drake Maye. I tweeted, what should I ask Drake Maye? And it's all, where is he living? Has he found his house yet? In New York? Is he living in Jersey? Is he living with the Vikings? It must feel good to feel that love this week, huh?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think, a lot of fans out there, it's been cool to kind of see, and we'll find out in a couple of days, see where I go. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. Where are you in the adoption process with your former head coach, Mac Brown?
Yeah, Coach Brown's the best. I mean, he's hard to beat. I think he's just a player's coach, and he's one of the best to play for, and it's really one of the main reasons why I went to Carolina to play for Coach Brown. So adoption. He's probably spoken on that, but he speaks highly of me and speak highly of him. I'm a big fan.
It means a lot. It's not because of the awards, you being the finalist for the Manning Award, the nation's top quarterback, one of the top prospects in this draft class, of course, but probably because of that whiteboard in your locker room with your NBA 2K record, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you did a little research. I know. I see it. Yeah, I like it. I play little video games in my free time. So
undefeated.
I like to say I am. I think I'm pretty solid. So my brothers will give me a run, but nobody else really. So
well, your brothers played hoops at UNC. What's your record versus your brothers at actual basketball?
Yeah, it's not very good. Also, for Luke, he's actually playing in Japan now. He's balling. So he gets me inside in the paint, and I have trouble with him. But out there on the perimeter, I'll do all right. So
you're being very modest for all. I mean, I've done my research. Like you said, I've heard you're quite the trash talker. You are a good talker with all this.
Yeah.
I want to get into this because, listen, I'm not jealous that you're in Detroit about to get drafted. I'm not jealous about the new home or the Super Bowl rings that are in your future. I am jealous that you are doing throwing sessions with my favorite quarterback of all time, Phillip Rivers. What is that like?
Oh, it's awesome. Talk about the king of trash talk. He's the best at it. I think he still throws it great too. It was one of the coolest things watching him throw out there on the field. Just being in the boardroom and shoot, one of the greatest of all time, played for so many years. And I think the best thing about him is he played so many games during his seasons. I think we rarely missed a game, and that's his attitude. And getting on there and talking on the board with him and just picking his brain was, a really cool experience. He went to the wrong school over there in Raleigh, but, still a big fan of him.
If you had to leave a Yelp review of this time you spent with Philip Rivers, what is sort of like the one thing you'd write that he taught you?
Just the little details, the minor details that are so important. I think he talked about the little things, whether it's, yardage on a route, going up on the board, or, taking the guys out to dinner, the little things that, really mean a lot and go a long way for being, the quarterback in the NFL. So.
I love that you're pointing out his consistency, his trash talk. He threw it a little different too, and I love it. He went to the wrong school, but he was an ACC guy. You did something, my friend Drake, that he was never able to do. In 2022, you were ACC Player of the Year, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, ACC Rookie of the Year, and Offensive Rookie of the Year. Only one other ACC quarterback's ever done that. I mean, Trevor Lawrence never did it. Russell Wilson never did it. Matt Ryan, Lamar Jackson. What makes you the most pro-ready quarterback?
Yeah, I think basically just my competitiveness and want to win. I think I played in two different systems, so I know what it's like. I played in the air raid my first year and played in this last year with outside zone scheme and different reads in the passing game. So I feel like I've seen a lot in college. I think they've tried to throw all they can at me defensively. So I've seen a lot of different coverages, cover zero, a bunch of it, and I think they're just trying to get me off my game. And I think, the biggest thing for me is, my skill set and my prototype. I'm a big 6'5" dude that can stand in the pocket and make throws, and also I can go outside and make plays. So I think, what makes me most pro ready is that, I feel like I can do it all and there's not really a weakness to my game.
Yeah, I like how you go through your reads and it's so clear. You are using the whole field. Even PFF notices that you're the highest grade of all FBS quarterbacks on throws in the middle of the field. How often did that come up in your meetings with GMs and front offices?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, multiple times they mentioned me, being able to throw in the middle of the field and how it's so important in the NFL, especially tight windows and seam shots and kind of not just throwing outside the numbers and outside the hashes. It's a big game in the NFL, throwing across the middle and let people, make plays in space. So I think that's, part of the game that I'm looking forward to translate to the NFL and excited for that.
Drake, I think the off-platform throws and the Patrick Mahomes-y stuff's going to be quite a crowd pleaser in the NFL, don't you think?
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I got to be careful, be a little more protective with my body. But hey, I'm gonna try to leave it all out there. I'm not scared to do it. So
it's a good answer. Let's talk about the footwork here a little bit. I think you got this Elway back pedal thing going on, and it was very successful for you. People like to talk about it on Twitter, on whatever. Does it actually come up with the people who matter in the meetings?
No, I mean, I think sometimes they say that I get out a little bit early and can hang in there more, instead of, getting on the run or moving a little bit. But, really, I think, some of this, this critiquing in the media world just happens with, any prospect out there. They're going to find something that they'll critique and it's part of it. And really in the meetings, I think teams are more excited just to meet me and get around me, and they know I can make all the throws and an intelligent kid. So that's more what they focused on. I think the footwork was something just going under center is a little different than NFL, so that's what I want to see, and I showed that in my pro day.
But different isn't bad. Philip Rivers throws the ball different, and it worked out quite well for him. Like, it's just, it works for you, and so I'm glad you're not sending tweets to like Phil Longo and saying like, why did I do it this way?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's what he taught, and I'm a preacher of what my coach is teaching. I'm gonna do it, and ended up working well for us. So Coach Longo's believed that, and we had some success doing it. We threw it around the yard. So.
You gave a lot of credit to these teams and how prepared they were for you and the research and all of that, and how blown away, how much they knew about you. What's something that you heard that you were so surprised a team knew?
That's a good question. Well, my older brother, Bo, we went to 2 different high schools, and they knew that, and they were asking me and my dad, who lived together, they were asking what we did at dinner, because they knew my dad didn't cook. So they asked what we did for dinner during the week, because he was living me going to high school. So probably that. And how often just I got to see my brother when we were different high schools. So I think that's pretty cool. They knew that. And I was going to play my brother in high school basketball, but our high school agreed to cancel the game just because it'd be a bunch of heads clashing, and I would have guarded my brother, older brother Bo. It would have been pretty cool. But they do the research now. They'll do it now.
You have a very athletic family. Like everybody, and your dad coached you for forever, and now Mac Brown wants to come and adopt you right when the gravy train's about to come in. So it doesn't make any sense. Where were you in Pee Wee years? No, I was talking Mac.
Exactly.
Where was Mac in those times?
Exactly. Yeah, he's coming in. Yeah, he's coming a little late. Yeah, so
What are
comes
you
in
most
the road.
What are you most excited about? You just got to Detroit. You have all of this going on. Where's your head at?
Just embracing the process, enjoying it. You always think about really the first time and kind of my life. I got to work on myself this past kind of few months, getting ready for the draft. You're always team oriented, especially the quarterback, checking in on other guys and throwing the guys to make sure the offense and basically the whole team's ready to go. But I really, it's for the first time in my life, I'm working myself, and from there, just excited to go to a new spot. I've been in North Carolina my whole life, so excited to get out of the state a little bit and go live somewhere else. And I think my whole family will be in here for the draft. Our oldest brother Luke is coming from Japan, so it means a lot to have everybody here and enjoy this moment for me. It's pretty special.
Sam Howell sending you some texts lately?
Yeah, I was just with him this past weekend. We did a little fundraiser. We played some golf. So Sam's my best friend, and he's the guy. So I'm looking forward to maybe seeing him along the road, and hopefully maybe play against each other one day.
Best piece of advice that Sam gave you?
I'll just be myself. I think that's what he said. He's preached it since that's who he is. He doesn't change. Sam Howell's cool, calm, and collected. Everywhere he goes and everything he does in life. So be myself, and if somebody doesn't like me, then that's their wrongdoing. So.
Drake, I've been covering this game a long time, and I know that the best NFL players, the biggest stars, are partnered with Lowe's. It's incredible that you've made this partnership. What made you decide to work with Lowe's?
I was so excited when it came possibility. Because I'm the newest member of their home team. I came here 2 weeks ago to Detroit, actually, and I got to see them build the draft stage. Got to meet some of the pros and some of the workers, and it's meant so much to me to be there and play and roll and see them do what they do. And we walk across that stage here in 2 days. So kind of just full circle moment. I grew up in North Carolina, and Lowe's a North Carolina company, so it means so much to me. From that state. Grew up so many stories. Me and my brothers in the backyard. We used to paint a football field. We go to the local Lowe's and get some paint, and we extended our driveway to have a full half court of basketball. We use Lowe's to get some of the equipment for there, and just growing up and so many baseballs off windows and so many different things that go on. So Lowe's has been there. It's right across my neighborhood, and it's just such an easy fit. They want to do stuff in the community, and we have a community event tomorrow that we're going to do, and I'll get my hands there a little bit and show a little handiness myself. So it just means so much to me. It was an easy fit.
There's a lot of key projects going on there on the ground in Michigan. Their official community improvement partner of the NFL, Lowe's, with you, of course, and the NFL. They're going to put you to work. They're not just going to let you wear that suit and walk across the stage and dap up Roger Goodell. You were working with Volunteers of America, Michigan during draft week as well. It is an incredible partnership, and I'm glad to know that you're good at home improvement. Is there anything that you're bad at, Drake Maye?
No, I would say so. There's definitely some things. I don't go on ski or water sports. I can't do many of that. But the home improvement's getting a little better. So Lowe's has helped me out with that. As I become living on my own, will be a little different. So
enjoy every moment, and congratulations on the partnership, your future, everything that you've done, and everything that you, of course, will do in front of our eyes in the NFL.
Thanks, Kay. Yeah, thanks so much. This is awesome.
I loved him. I really did. Thanks to Lowe's for giving us some time with him. From Drake Maye. Am I going to love you, Ricky Pearsall? Let's see. He's got the headphones on, the Ricky Lake isolation booth. He doesn't even know what that is because he's a rookster. Let's do this after this. Ricky Lake isolation booth. If there was a draft prospect that knew Hamilton, what that is, I would be very surprised.
Yeah. Maybe Bo Nix. Yeah.
Yeah, because 24, he's some like old man River. Get out of here. Get out of here. Can I get the photo? Can I get the photo? Could you text it to? I absolutely will not inform him on Ricky Lake. Absolutely not. Those are things that we don't need to be clouding his brilliant young mind with.
Yeah. He doesn't need to know.
He doesn't need to know. Somebody that goes by the name Slick Rick need not know of Ricky Lake or any of those things. That Drake Maye. What a salesman.
It's hard not to walk away from that liking him. I mean,
he's very smiley. Very smiley.
Yeah.
He's a little. I didn't notice when I was in it. He's a little. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot. There's he's. But he's got 8. There's like people in the room watching him. Then he's got yeah. I've heard good things. I've heard good things about him. Him to the. I don't love the Patriots for him at 3.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love the Patriots for any of these young quarterbacks if
I
they
know,
don't
they're
add something more, but
they're rebuilding. You know,
yeah.
Gerard's got to
Yeah.
find his guy.
Yeah.
Drake, yeah. Drake made it the Patriots at 3. I don't know. Where do you think Jaden goes?
Great. I still think he goes to Washington. I do.
Is that a good vibe for him?
I mean, you get a couple of good receivers. They got some work to do on the line. He made some moves in free agency. Still have work to do, but I don't know. At least like he's having Terry McLaurin to throw to is pretty damn good.
Really tired. I saw. Immediately after this, I'm not going to do the post show. Tiara, amazing job on that cut up. I thought it was great. I think that can actually go out in full schedule tomorrow morning, just as a whatever, because it's just pretty concise, easy watch. And then I need you to call me about Joe Alt. Because I think I have Joe Alt like.
Can you interview Joe Alt while you're driving? Can we do?
What
Can
did
we
I do
make this
yesterday
happen?
that you thought was so funny? Anyway, here we go. Next guest, one of the fastest rising stars in the game. After 3 standout years at Arizona State, he led the Florida Gators in receiving touchdowns. In 2022, led the team in receiving yards for the last 2 years as well. He was also an SEC Academic Honor Roll selection in 2023. Ricky Pearsall, a.k.a. Slick Rick, welcome to the program.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate having. Now, I've heard it both ways, Pearsall and Pearsall. You can't do this to me. I don't know how you want me to say your name in the NFL when you're racking up these highlights on the field.
Everybody kind of butchers it, but it's Pearsall. That's how you pronounce it.
Pearsall, so I had it right. Okay.
Yeah, you got it. I was impressed.
Yeah, I'm very excited for you. I'm impressed by everything. Now, does Slick Rick come from your moves on the field or off? Because the boy can dance. Oh.
How did you get this video? That's what I'm wondering. But yeah, that nickname started when I was young. My friends called me that through high school, middle school, and then it just stuck. So it stuck when I got to Florida after this.
I love it. Okay, so, it's an exciting week. It's an exciting long journey. Let's talk about these moves on the field. You're quick. You're very quick. You can turn on a dime. Your route running's turning heads left and right. What is your favorite route to run?
That's a tough question. I like running all the routes because all the routes set each other up. So a lot of people like to run go balls. I think I like to run slot fades. It's whatever. I like running routes. I like to say in the fourth quarter when everything, comes together and you set guys up. So I'll say that.
I love that. Now, you tested off the charts at the Combine. Congrats to you. 4.41 40-yard dash. I told you guys he was quick. 42-inch vert, 10-foot, 9-inch broad. Your performance surprised people. What else do you think is sort of like flying under the radar about your game?
I think my knowledge of the game, it's hard to measure that. Obviously, it's a little bit better during these interview processes when you're talking to these different teams and coaches. They kind of get a little bit of a better grasp from you. But I've been through a bunch of different playbooks. I've been through 5 different position coaches and 4 different OCs through my college career. So I've learned a lot of different playbooks. So I feel like I can pick something up like that really fast when I get to a team. And, I'm really excelling at that kind of
Ricky, I like that you said after your performance and people were surprised, you said it might be a surprise to them. It wasn't a surprise to me.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
That was a very slick Rick response. I like that. Okay, any team, I want to talk about this one-handed catch, right? This year against Charlotte that went viral. Do we have that? I think we have it. But that's just sort of like just a little something I found kind of interesting. PFF crunched the numbers, and your drop rate at Florida was 2.8%. Like, that's good enough to be fourth best drop rate among draft-eligible Power 5 receivers. That's amazing. What is behind you being so sure-handed, even through contact?
Mm-hmm. I feel like ever since I was young, I was naturally good at catching the ball just because I've been playing football my entire life. My dad played college ball. I think it just runs in the blood at that point. But obviously the work I put into leading up to that, catching jugs each and every day and getting with the quarterbacks. So I think that's what it comes down to.
You met Tomlin at the Senior Bowl.
I did.
I see. You had a top 30 visit in March with the Steelers. Arthur Smith,
Yes,
Mike Tomlin in one room. Was it a serious meeting? Was it jokey? What was that vibe?
It was very laid back. It was definitely a change from my other 30 visits. So, it was refreshing to see coaches like that. but they're both really good dudes, but really good coaches, and I'd be really excited to be able to play with them.
What were they most impressed with about your game?
I think they pointed out my age at one point, saying that I'm an experienced player, and they like that about me. A lot of teams, well, a lot of things that come up, you know, with the age thing is like a negative thing, but they took it as a positive thing, which I really thought was really cool. And, you know, just how skilled of a player I am, top to bottom, you know, when it comes to route running, understanding the game. And so that's what they're impressed with.
I'm impressed with like your versatility. If we could talk about that for a second. You return kicks at ASU, return punts at Florida. You've thrown a touchdown pass, I believe, and you had 5 rushing touchdowns. Let's just have everybody like understand how versatile you can be in your college career, but hopefully it translates that. Which role outside of receiver do you think you would thrive in the most on the NFL level?
Wherever they need me, to be honest. I can also return kicks too. So I can be a kick returner, punt returner. I'm versatile in that standpoint too, outside, inside receiver. And like you said, you know, I can rush the ball too. So whatever that means, you know, doing jet sweeps, reverses, all that.
Brandon Ayuk, by the way, was also on the 2019 Sun Devil squad, of course. We're going to talk ASU and Jaden and all that in a second. Has he given you any advice pre-draft? Do you know Brandon?
Yes, I do know Brandon. He was actually here in Arizona again recently, so I hit him up to get a few workouts in. But they're just kind of amping up their stuff because they just got done with their off season. So
yeah. Did he give you any advice? What do y'all talk about?
All kinds of things. Obviously, just introducing me to like the business side about football, what to expect, you know, how to handle yourself like a pro, to be honest, because he's doing it at a high level. He's having a lot of success at it. So as much information I can get from him and as many questions I can ask him and he can answer for me is, you know, that much better. So just staying in contact with a guy like him who's doing it at a high level, I think is going to be very beneficial for me.
I hope he stays in San Francisco.
For sure. And hopefully I can get his jersey when we play against each other.
I'd love that. Now, you and Jaden Daniels, very quickly, you were both freshmen at ASU back in 2019. You both found new homes, great success in the SEC in your final 2 years in school. Is there anything you saw in him early in his career that showed you this is going to be a Heisman winner and a good NFL quarterback?
Oh, for sure. We were the same class, so we came in together, and just seeing the strides that he made his freshman year was really impressive, especially for being so young. You know, none of the lights got bright for him, to be honest. So I think that's what stood out to most to all the guys in the locker room was just his poise, you know, being out there on that stage and performing.
I can't wait to see where you go. Ricky Pearsall coming to an NFL stadium near you. Nice to meet you, Slick Rick, and good
nice
luck.
to meet you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Good luck.
So
have
much.
fun. Enjoy it. It's almost over. Finally.
Oh, yes. Can't wait.
Bye.
Thank you.